Onto our second cylinder object. Today we're going to draw a cylinder can still with parallel sidelines, except for now this can's going to have many different edges and ledges. So to get set up, I need you to turn to page 15. And on page 15, on the second set, or actually on the second section, you will find a space for a nice parallel soda can. So to get started, we are going to do two parallel lines. And again, to do this, my object is going to be a little bit taller than my can of corn. So I'm going to draw these lines a little bit longer. Whoops. Notice that I clean that. I want to start off with a nice parallel line. I'm going to lay that in there again. I got a little wiggly. Two parallel straight up and down lines. And then we're going to close this rectangle up. But in closing your rectangle up, remember to do it lightly because these are guidelines and these will be erased. So I'm going to close that up. We are going to close the bottom up. And notice that I lay this on the sideline. So now I have a rectangle. Remembering that we have the gentle smile and the gentle frown. Hopefully you've put these indicators just to remind you. This is when I say gentle smile. This is when I say gentle frown. So to put the basic cylinder in, we are going to simply determine the distance here. Where is that middle? And if you want, you can just kind of eyeball it if you wish. Or if you have a piece of paper, you could take a piece of paper, lay that in there. Let's see here. Lay that in there, determine the size of your paper, fold it in half to give you the indicator where the fold is of where the middle is. You might even want to check that and see if pretty close. Go down to the bottom, put that same marking for the middle. So we've marked the middle on both of my horizontal lines. That is just the indicator of how low we want to go with our smile. So this is how deep my smile is going to be. I give it a gentle, just a gentle curve there. Put my smile in, a gentle curve here. And it is a gentle smile. Again, I want that same smile down here. So to get that, I have to know the distance from here to here. So I'm going to do a measurement. Come down here, mark it there. That simply tells me where to put my gentle smile. Now, because this object is not going to be see-through, I'm no longer going to need this line here, so I can go ahead and get rid of that guideline just to clean my paper up. I need to round out. So to round out, again, this measurement here, which I've already marked here, I'm going to slide that up there and mark it here. That is the indicator of the frown, how deep the frown. And basically you have kind of an oval going on there. And we can get rid of our guidelines here and clean up. We have a cylinder as we did in the can of corn next door, but we're going to add some more parallel smiles and edges and ledges to our can. So the first thing is we want to give the small, and I don't know if you can see that, but I want to give this small little metal here, which then is also indicated in the inside. So to do so, I'm going to go here and parallel. And as an artist, I'm sketching lightly until I know exactly what I want. So I'm going to put my parallel smile there. And then in the inside of my can, not on the outside out here, but on the inside, I'm going to curve. And give my gentle frown inside. So let's go ahead and detail the top of our can. When you see that you've got a pull tab and you have a drinking hole. So let's go with the pull tab first of all. And actually, in this can, I even see another ledge that's in here. It's another frown. And you might have a can at home that you can look at. We know that usually the drink hole is usually close to the edge. So I am going to put a drink hole in here. And I'm going to darken it because that's the interior of the can. And the pull tab. The pull tab can be a variety of shapes. I like to think of it as a rectangle, a rounded rectangle. So looking at it, I'm going to do the basic shape of it. I'm going to round my edges here and I'm going to come down. Now I double this edge. And right now it looks goofy here. I need to decide what covers the back wall of the can, and that's what's going to look more impressive. So I will erase the lines inside here, and notice how instantly it looks like, actually this is a rounded spot there. And because of the eraser, it indicates that this pull tab covers these little back walls of my can. So one more in there. I'm going to enlarge this just to indicate. So right now it looks like we've got an intersection of a lot of lines. Again, go in with your eraser. Think about what covers what. So of the pull tab, and again, all these little details will make your picture look more real. So I notice that my back frown, I see it, then I don't see it right there. I see it in between, and I see it come outside. So this can be a bit confusing, but in here, in the little tab to open your can, think to yourself, what metal of the pull tab covers the back of my can, and erase those lines. You may want to now rub with your blender stick in here and give this a nice little shade. You might even want to give this a little shade. So you now have the interior of our can. So the next thing will be to do these ledges. I call them ledges. If you notice on the can, and it's kind of shiny here, but you'll notice that it comes out to hit the wall. And probably what I should have done is not drawn these so dark, but we're simply going to make it work here. And that is that I'm going to come in slightly and go out. Come in slightly, go out. Come in slightly, go out. Come in slightly, go out. I notice on mine they are not even. I want them to be as even as possible. Do a little erasing here. So, again, I'm going to come in and go out. I'm going to come in and go out. So you may say, why are you so worried about that? Well, anything you can do to give your item more detail, the better it's going to look. The other thing that's really going to help this area is when I shade, notice that I'm going in a gentle to give the illusion that it's around a can. Coming down the bottom of my can off. If you notice now the bottom of a soda can is that it slightly goes in and then it smiles again. So in doing this, down here at the bottom, I'm going to slightly go in, slightly go in, and then I simply want to parallel. Again, sketch lightly. You see how I get kind of wiggly with my hand. So I came in here and dipped in here, dipped in here, here. That is the bottom of my can. And you might even just slightly thicken this line up. And again, I'm going to lay some lead in there, but I have some lead to move around. I may even decide to put another little thin line up here. Very thin. And now what I want to do is jot down my label per se. This happens to be a Pepsi can, which is a very simple label. And I happen to have a template, and I notice the way my can is setting. Let's see here. I see part of my label. So I put that in. Then I see that my label, if you notice on the Pepsi can, my label, the circle is parallel. Probably what would have been super easy for me would be go to my original circle and simply find the smaller circle. Would have probably been an easier step to do. I'm not assuming that you have a template, so don't worry about that. And now it's basically a shape that goes like this. And if in the perfect world, if we all had colored pencils, we could color this all in. And then you notice the labeling. So because it is a cylinder, again, I'm going to put in some guidelines. And I'm going to sketch lightly. Now, to shade my item, again, I would work a little bit more on this. My pole goes straight down with the sides. Erasing my guidelines before I start shading. It's hard to get guidelines out after you start shading. Sometimes you can work them in with your shading. I am definitely not happy with this because if you really look on a can, it's a very skinny line there. Let me get rid of this one. I should not have used that size template because it was not correct. And like I said before, in the perfect world, we would shade these in. Actually, we would color these in. The middle one is white. Now, as I was saying before, I like to shade this direction because it gives the illusion that I actually have a round can because I'm going with the smile here. If you choose to shade up and down, you can always also choose that, but however you choose to shade, stay with it. In this particular situation where you're trying to give the illusion of something that is rounded, you probably don't want to go crisscross crazy all over the place. I'm going to put a little shade. Then like to take my paper towel, it goes very quickly. So you may have, like I just did, just erased my shine out. So you can get your shine. And I use my eraser going in a kind of a smile sort of way. I leave my shavings on there. Now I have my pop can. I'm going to put it on a counter, which we already know how to do. Draw my counter line. Because it is a circular item, my shading will be an oval. And again, add a lot of contrast down here. Sometimes if I'm going to lose the bottom of my object, as I kind of am, I like to just put in a hint of a line. Just a little hint of a line to indicate my object and the definition bit of my object, the difference, should I say, of my object and my shadow. So you've now completed your second cylinder with parallel sidelines with some variety of different edges in there, making it have a 3D appearance.